I'll let Travis. I'm too tired today.
Hello, pickleballers. Welcome to Tennis Sucks. Don't know if you heard the intro there, but Graham's very, very tired today. He doesn't have the energy to make fun of me, apparently, so that should be a good day for me. But I can assure you he's tired from a long day of sitting. I believe he's probably taken under 100 steps today. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, just sat there and drank Coca-Colas and had some combos. And somehow he's just absolutely exhausted.
No
And
combos.
yet, when I reference the day that I've had, which is taking care of essentially an infant or a toddler who he couldn't stand for 15 minutes, he tells me how little I do. So, yeah, welcome to Tennis Sucks. Let's get the pod going, and hopefully Graham can stay awake for it.
I just did have my first caffeine of the day. It wasn't enough, that's for sure.
Are you going to order us more caffeine, please, from the greatest boba place of all time?
100%. Rowan, do you drink boba tea?
Bubble tea? I do.
Do you have the Dinks card where we can get around for ourselves on
Yeah,
DoorDash?
Thomas, you're good with that, right?
Yeah, Thomas, can you send us the info real quick? That'd be great.
Thomas, if I don't have access to that card, you better send it.
What drink do you normally get if you get bubble tea?
You know what? I usually kind of just try whatever they recommend.
That means you didn't drink it.
Like a house tea or something?
Yeah, I think I like green tea.
Okay.
Green tea?
Pretty safe, yeah.
It's not bad. Yep.
What about you guys?
I like the chocolate.
Ooh.
I
you can't go wrong with
actually do
chocolate.
the house tea. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I've been through every flavor they have. Taro's good. Jamaica is a weird one.
Let's be really
or
clear,
brown
though.
sugar.
The place here, Moonlit
Moonlight
Boba. And I'm a new boba fiend. And it was costing me a shit ton because Graham gets me on this habit that's $9 for a cup of tea.
That's expensive.
But it's the best tea and beverage that I've enjoyed maybe ever, outside of something alcoholic.
You find a good boba tea house.
the best boba there
you can
is.
get addicted for sure.
Where do you guys go? What's the best spot in St.
Moonlight
Pete?
Boba.
So Moonlight Boba.
Okay.
Actually, the best one, I don't know why people are caring about this, is over in Bradenton. It's called Green Island Yogurt.
Green Island Yogurt.
But
Thank you for that enunciation.
if you don't want to
man.
drive a half hour, then Moonlight Boba is the spot.
Did you think we weren't going to understand if you said Green Island Yogurt?
No, I couldn't think of the name, so I had to say it slowly while I was thinking of it.
Green Island
The words came to
Yogurt?
me. The words came to me slowly.
What?
I told you I'm tired,
yeah,
man.
he's exhausted. He can't even
Jesus.
fucking speak anymore. Jesus, what a day. A lot of days being the slumlord of St. Pete.
All right.
Yeah, so let's get in. Let's just jump right into Newport recap. Trav, a lot happened there. Yeah, just go ahead.
Wow. Okay, let's just get into like the good stuff first. Great turnout. Super fun event. Stadium court was packed, particularly for the Tyson McGuffin James Ignatovich match against Pablo Tellez and Federico Staxford, which we'll get into a little bit more later, as Pablo Tellez has shown that he will tell anybody to go fuck themselves if they talk shit to him. And I love that about you, Pablo. Keep flipping the bird, buddy. But that was definitely the most exciting match of the week. Tyson is playing amazing. He and Lacey Schneemann made the finals of the mixed, lost to the Johnsons in the final. The Johnsons' closest match was to Wright and Safarova. And they barely snuck out of it. I think they were down like 6-3 in game 3. And, just Georgia, again, carries JW. So that was essentially the mixed. I had a good little run with Leia. We kind of gagged in the quarters against Riley and Elise Jones, but ended up getting fifth, beating James Ignatovich and Anna Bright in the 5th-6 playoff. Leia played great. But really the talk of the tournament was Lacey Schneemann. She's just had a huge uptick in her play. Great athlete. She's improving all the time. And I think Tyson would be the first to say that she was amazing all day long. Then men's doubles, man, I was stoked to play with Andiamo. We were just absolutely awful. I think Julian would tell you as well as anyone that he probably had one of the worst days he's ever had. Error count really high. We just couldn't get in a good vibe, and I certainly didn't help him too much. So we had a quick day. And again, JW wins it with Dylan Frazier beating Riley and Matt in the final. The reason that one's interesting is because the Johns brothers go down to Ben Newell and Philip Locklear, what's his name?
I want to say Locklear.
Locklear, who's just a crafty little dude, and just chopped him up, man. Just played pure chaos pickleball, and it worked. And they handed him an L pretty easily. I want to say like 10-2. And then the funny part was in the next round got absolutely routed by Gabe Tardio and a kid, Whitehead, I think his name is. So yeah, really, really weird week as far as the results. A lot of players that are seemingly improving and coming out of their shells. Tyson solidifying himself as one of the best players, not just the best personalities in the league. And yeah, what did you think from watching, Graham?
I didn't watch a ton, so I don't have a lot of input on this. I watched you all the way up until game 2, 10-10.
Yeah.
And then I walked out of the room. I'd seen enough.
I understand. It was pretty frustrating. I snapped a paddle, which I shouldn't have done, but I was pretty pissed.
Yeah. I saw all the crotch shots.
Oh yeah, 3 times Jay DeVilliers hit me right in the groin region. It was actually direct hits. Thank God it's a wiffle ball and not a tennis ball or a softball.
The snapped paddle,
yeah.
the Pablo. I did see the Pablo
Yeah,
recap.
so the Pablo one was really interesting, man, because there were some guys there that were making really harsh, derogatory comments towards him the entire time. Tyson says he has no idea who the guys were, but I can see how Pablo would have thought he did because they were sitting right next to his wife and his kids, and Pablo certainly thought that they were all there together. And was getting pissed because if you're watching from the outside, it looked like Tyson was firing them up to get more juice or whatever. He was just getting the crowd going, as he says. But yeah, man, it got heated, and it was a super tense match with a lot of ups and downs. And at the end of it, Pablo just turned to the guys instead of clapping paddles with Tyson and James. Turned to the guys and flipped them off, and they almost got into blows. I actually was standing right there, and the guy approached Pablo. A ref got in the way. It looked like it could get ugly very fast. And fortunately, it didn't. But, I want to comment on this really quick. One, I don't mind that Pablo flipped the bird. Apparently, the PPA is fining him. Fine. My biggest concern, and I heard something about this, like, the fans need to understand this, and they need to not talk during points, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't buy any of that. In other sports, fans yell, cheer, scream, talk shit, and I think it should be promoted, not the other way around, because we as pickleball players are so lucky to have them watching and give a shit what we're doing. If they want to be passionate about it, as long as they don't say anything racist or about your mother or cross that line, then if they want to yell miss during an overhead, during the point, then let them. That's fun. That makes it not like tennis. Tennis sucks. It's awful to go to. It's a golf clap sport. We don't want that. So, I don't think the fans need to be educated. I think the players need to be educated on the fact that you are lucky that they come. They are ultimately going to be the ones that make you money because sponsors are going to give us money if these fans care. And the more that they care, the more that they're passionate about watching you, the more that they're allowed to feel like they're involved in it, the better. So, that's where I stand on that one. I don't mind what Pablo did. I don't mind what the fan was doing. Again, maybe a few things that crossed that line. But, the more fan-player interaction during matches, I think the better.
Well, that when we first kind of met Pablo out in Austin, I don't know, over a year ago, we tried to make a nickname up for him.
Yeah, he didn't like it.
El Patron.
El Patron. Which is a dumb nickname. It's us being stupid. It's the Pablo Escobar fucking name, and he
wasn't.
He was not having it.
But I don't know. I think he might be the Pablo Escobar of pickleball. The guy's.
Okay, well, let's take it easy here for a second.
You saw him snap.
Oh, Pablo is the nicest guy ever. He has
really
4 Cokes a day. He's very relaxed, even with 400 grams of sugar in his bloodstream. But if you say something that bothers you, poke that guy. He's getting pissed. And, like I said, I became a bigger fan of Pablo. I like the fact that he handled it and fucking competed and played well. Yeah, and won the match. And he had, these guys were mean to him, and he was staring them down, not backing down one bit. I loved it.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yes, very.
But you're right. I agree with you. It made, I don't know. It was good. It was fun.
Yeah, this idea.
As long as they're safe, it doesn't become anything. Safe,
but why educate the fans? Who gives a shit? Why do we care why do we care? What? Because we're concerned that the overhead goes up and we're gonna miss the overhead. If you miss the overhead because someone yells at you, then you miss the overhead. Shut up. Stop whining.
What if you missed the overhead and no one yelled?
Then I blame the tree falling.
Like on match point in a quarterfinal match in mixed.
This guy. Well, that was actually not match point. It was
sorry.
It was 9-10 to get to 10-10. Yeah. What if you do that? Let me think.
When someone yelled during your overhead? because that thing went in the stands. I felt like
It actually went side fence.
You were targeting somebody
It went side
outside
fence.
the fence.
Side fence, yeah. No, the person to blame for that one is Riley. Like, he obviously hadn't hit me enough overheads during the match. I wasn't grooved. And fuck off, Newman.
Let's talk about the disqualification due to the paddle, Sarah Ansberry. Just if you kind of she was not DQ'd because of delamination specifically. Is that correct?
I can't tell you exactly what she was DQ'd for. I know that the paddle did not pass the test. The odd thing is it passed before her quarterfinal, and during that process of the match, it was deemed illegal. The funny thing about that is, I watched Sarah hit from the first moment I got there. Her among other people, I want to tell you. And I could tell you right away that her paddle was delaminated. Within the first 2 balls she struck, it was like, oh, that has that hollow sound. Obvi.
You were watching the Ansberry match?
She was warming up next to me.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, I pay attention to, me. I observe what paddles people play with, what shoes they wear, what they're doing. I don't know why. It's OCD psychotic. Like, ask my therapist. She tells me I have OCD. So, yeah, I could tell right away that she had a delaminated paddle, but the metrics that they're using for delamination are kind of odd. Again, I commend the PPA to some extent. They are trying to put the correct protocols in place. It's a very difficult problem that is a fluid situation that's ever changing. I don't know what the right way to go about it is. And Graham, I think you should comment on this more than me.
You do?
Yeah, I definitely do.
I know there's a lot of controversy over Paddlegate, still going on, who's getting fined. I feel like they definitely made an example of Sarah, and I don't think that's fair. I feel like almost like they don't mind that she's the one that goes down for the problem that's happening right now.
Right.
And everyone should be, if you're fining people and you're DQing people and you're taking away their prize money and their wins, that should happen to every single person that gets tested.
Not biased in any way.
Not biased in any way, whether, and I think we're talking about a group of people. So I don't agree with that. However, I think we're pickleball people, right? We want the sport to grow and get bigger.
That's
and get
the priority,
greater.
yes.
That's a priority. So for me, it's tough to, like you were saying about the fans getting rowdy, to complain about this because they're trying to implement stuff. They're trying to make the tour as watchable and as exciting as possible. And yeah, they may make bad decisions doing that, but I'm for the growth of the PPA. I'm for the growth of MLP, even APP.
I think that
for
the
growth of pickleball.
But for that growth to take place and for gambling to be a big part of it, which I think we all know, gambling is a huge part of sports growth.
Agreed. I think they're trying to correct it, though. Am I right?
I think so, too.
They called, you said, like the head of PPA, that's head of player relations, is calling a bunch of people, maybe called James, called you, saying what happened, what can we do better, how can we fix this? We realize we made a mistake. I mean, to me, that's enough.
Yep.
I don't know that I need more than that.
Just as long as the optics at some point look like everyone's being treated the same, we're good.
Agreed. So they messed up 1 week or 2 weeks. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no problem.
If they did it for 6 months or a year, that's a problem. We're killing the sport.
Absolutely. Okay, understood.
That's where my take is.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that's fair.
Okay.
So let's go into U.S. Open. The people that you talked to, did anybody watch it? I know there was still some cool events like mixed age, some wheelchair stuff.
Yeah.
I'll give my take first because I have a feeling, Travis, this is not going to be a positive one. From the couple of people that went
got that feeling,
and played in it, they said it was better than last year. There was more shade. They have a new pavilion,
right?
A big multi-million-dollar pavilion.
Well, apparently new buyer, right? A guy bought it.
Yeah, an investment group, I think, is investing in them. I don't know if they bought it, but buyer, investor. So the event overall was better this year. I heard the turnout was huge. I think a lot of that was amateur turnout, people playing in it. More shade, the pros a little better taken care of. You couldn't get tickets. Kyle Yates, I think it was one of the guys I asked. He won some gold medals again.
Yep.
And he said he couldn't get his dad. He was having trouble getting his dad on the center court. And he's like, that's how in high demand the tickets were. So the guy who's playing the gold medal match at the U.S. Open had difficulty getting his dad in to watch the match. So there's a demand. So I think probably for the people that were there and the 2,000 people that watched live the finals, I think they enjoyed it, Yeah, if we're talking about compared to an MLP event or PPA, I'll leave that up to Travis.
Please say you got that.
Yeah.
Did you get
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Justin,
it's
that was dirty.
That's a bird.
That was dirty. Dude, he earned and it hit the tape and he stayed in the air long enough to catch it. Something you could never do. Insane. Yep. Okay, yeah. So anyway, my take on the Open. I actually did watch it. I watched a few of the matches. I think they had a great fan turnout, it looked like. I was definitely one of the 2,000 viewers streaming on YouTube. I watch as much pickleball as I can.
It was about even with the PPA that was playing at the exact same time.
Okay.
So even viewership.
Yeah.
That's once a year, and PPA's every
Look,
other
the
weekend.
U.S. Open's a great event.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome for the amateurs. They have a great stadium court. There was some high drama matches. You're obviously going to, from my view, maybe critique the quality of play a little bit. But, that's going to happen anytime you don't have Ben and Anna Lee there. But, yeah, overall, it's obviously a great event. And hopefully the inclusiveness of the sport will take precedent in time. Again, this happened in tennis. Still, the ATP has all of basically your standard events, and the Grand Slams are owned by the ITF, and they eventually came together. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't, but the U.S. Open's a great event. I enjoyed watching it. Would love to see the best players in it.
Yeah. It's maybe lacking a little talent is probably the biggest complaint at this point.
Okay, but it sounds like the turnout was awesome according to Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Great.
big event. It's 2 weeks long, and people love it.
Yeah, great. Let's talk about this news the PPA came out with recently. 1.25 million viewers for the Newport event. Is that, I guess, are they counting? Is that just that we're viewing the broadcast on CBS? Is that an accumulation of the YouTube stream plus? Yeah.
Well, the
so
advertisement that came out said 1.25 million viewers.
Yeah.
And that it had beat NBA round 1 playoff games. And someone sent this to me, and I thought, man, that's amazing. That's incredible. And I thought to myself, only 1.25 million people watch the NBA playoffs round 1. And so then I looked it up, and no, it's completely false. The average
Not completely.
It's very false.
It beat out 3 NBA games.
No, it did not.
Yes, it did. We had this conversation.
What are the 3? You can't name them.
Of course I can't, but
Because it's not true. That's why you can't.
Okay. So you're saying they just lie? They just lied?
So they're talking about they took all their numbers from every platform
understood.
to get 1.25,
Right.
and then compared that to maybe one channel that was playing or a stream that was playing an NBA playoff. Like they're comparing apples to oranges, and not only that, the average viewership was 5 million, 4.5 million.
Yeah, that was the average. But for 3 games, they're saying there was 3 playoff games that had
What
viewership.
3 games? I cannot find them.
Well, there was God knows how many games. There were probably 12 fucking games this weekend. I can't tell you. But they were saying 3 games got beat out, and that would make sense if they were smaller markets, and maybe it was, the Brooklyn game where they were already up 3-0 and no one gave a shit about Game 4. Like, that's possible. And I would love to hear you say 100%, but we know
I'm not going to say 100%.
Of course not, because we know that doesn't mean shit anymore.
Anyway,
We won't say why, but Graham lies even when he says 100%.
Maybe it beat out some NBA
Okay, there we go.
playoff game
Thank you.
that no one can
3
seem
of
to
them is
tell
what
me
they said.
to tell me which one that is,
They
so I
didn't
can
need
look
to.
up
They
the
said
numbers.
3 games.
But they made it seem as if that's the viewership they got on CBS.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's just go away from this for a second. The point is they said on CBS it was 587,000 was like the legitimate number.
Okay.
That's
Did
a
that
fucking
be any
huge number.
It's
Who
not.
cares?
It's lower than other events.
I don't
pickleball
care.
events
It's
so
not the
far.
point. That's a huge number for pickleball. That's an abnormal number. If you put on tennis, Miami final, I'd love to know what those numbers are. I doubt it's there. The Pickle Slam, which was so rated so heavily, it was 620,000.
No, it peaked close to 8.
Okay. Peak close to 8. We're still in the same ballpark. We're still ranging in the same area for the OGO Newport
And
Doubles Shootout, which has
this-
very little marketing.
And actually, the California Selkirk event that happened in the summer did better numbers as well.
Great.
So that number is actually down from what I've seen in other pickleball events that are broadcast live. It was lower. I'm sorry. I don't know. We need to look the numbers up longer, but I don't think it was that great. I disagree. I think it was good.
Okay.
I don't think it's a bad thing, but I don't know that, we're trying to advertise something that's not true. Like, it's a fake it till you make it is the feeling I was getting from the advertisement.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm
I'm not going to argue it too much.
Okay. We don't know. Let's be honest. We don't really know.
I think they're
Can I
good
see all
numbers
the
for pickleball, which doesn't have any marketing. Nobody really knows it's on. I think people are seeking it out. I think it's an improvement, in my opinion.
Did you watch it on CBS?
Of course not. I was
Yeah,
fucking playing.
I don't think I have regular TV to even see it on CBS.
It was on Sunday at like 10 or 11. I was playing. Or
Yeah.
Saturday, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Speaking of Newport again, couple things on that. NML did a little write-up. There was a double shootout, so there was no singles. I'm gonna be honest, I like watching singles, but I also didn't I didn't notice that there wasn't singles. Is that kind of telling to the overall conversation? I guess it's being had in relation to singles, just that maybe it's not that important.
I mean, it's definitely not that important at the moment, but someone made a comment to me the other day that I thought was good. They said, in time, if you put the best athletes in in other sports into singles could become infinitely more important or more interesting to watch. For the moment, you see great shots in singles. You don't see a lot of great points. Like, most points are very boring, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I don't think it's a great spectator product at the moment. But again, like, I think of maybe going Monfils, Alcaraz, if those two guys were playing pickle from the time they were young, maybe singles is pretty damn good.
So do you think the problem is that singles doesn't draw the numbers, so they ignore it, or they ignored it and therefore it doesn't get any numbers?
I don't know.
Because the complaint is that they throw singles kind of like on a Wednesday or a Thursday, early in the morning, so that obviously they don't care about it. So is that what's causing the low numbers? Because we don't promote it?
No.
Or is it because it has low numbers, we don't promote it?
It has low numbers. That's I see what you're saying. It has low numbers. I mean, I'll tell you this. Like, I go back and watch a shit ton of pickleball just because I enjoy watching it. I never go back and watch singles matches, ever. It's just boring. The matches suck. I went back and watched Colin Schick a little bit because, again, his shot making was so impressive. But other than that, I'm just like, this sucks.
Okay.
But, I would say that's the case. I do think, though, the game could improve a lot. I think there's actually a lot more room for improvement in the singles than there is the doubles. The doubles, I think, will always kind of look in the exact way that it looks, with some evolution. But the singles, the room for evolution is fucking huge.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I want to jump into, Graham, I'm going to have you go first on this. We've seen quite a few players really turn it up at some tournaments and then the next weekend just not show up at all. So who are, first and foremost, your most overrated players currently? And then we'll go underrated after.
All right, how about you ready for this one?
Donkey Kong Smash. Go ahead.
Ryan Sherry.
Ooh.
Underrated and not opinion.
Love this.
Actually underrated because...
Oh yeah.
We're looking through the draft numbers, right? And
he wants to be in the supplemental draft.
He wants to be in the supplemental draft for Challenger.
As he should be.
More than anyone probably wants to be. He's been begging for this for over a year now.
He is like what MLP embodies. Like, the guy would be yelling for his teammates like nobody else.
So you imagine he's close to the top of someone that could be picked to be in the Challenger of MLP.
The guy won North Carolina last year.
You go to look on there, he's got a doubles duper lower than mine on the sheet, a 4.81.
No way.
So technically, I'm more eligible to be drafted at the Challenger than Ryan Sherry. And you go and then look him up on Duper.
He's a 6'4".
He's a 6'4".
Pretty damn good.
They got the wrong Ryan Sherry.
No way.
On the list. And he's saying this is now the second time it's happened.
It is the second time. The first time the algorithm was changing and they dropped it like a 5-7 the day before. He didn't get picked up.
This is not funny. Ryan, it's not funny, man.
It's not funny,
You deserve better.
Yeah. You've been a huge advocate for the sport since day one.
Big time.
Big time.
So he technically would be fourth on the list, right? I think below Johnson Cola. So fourth on the list in men to be drafted to MLP, and right now he's like 140th.
I want to play his voice memo to me so badly, but I don't think that's appropriate.
He's not happy.
There's a few expletives, and he handles it with class and with comedy, but he's definitely frustrated.
I think Ryan Sherry is underrated, and here's my reason. Is singles, you know what you're getting, right?
A beast.
Doubles, he's good, not great.
Yes.
But I think if you put him in that format,
Ooh, he could be really
I
fucking
have a feeling
good.
he could be great.
Well, he could light it up because he can serve huge, and he could just go drive, crash, and his hands are actually fast.
Yes.
And then here's the thing: is like
He's
his
going to be a great partner.
His great fucking partner is going to support whoever's there. Definitely could turn teams around. Like if you have a shitty team, put Cherbear in there, take the shot, and anything could happen. Like he could literally run the show for you.
So Orlando Squeeze, if you're Miami Pickleball Club, if you're hearing this right now, I don't know who you should get rid of, but pick up Ryan Sherry.
He's the type of guy that's gonna like get the crowd going too, right?
Oh.
I mean,
He would be
for
a
MLP.
riot.
Yeah.
He's perfect.
He would be a riot. You'd have to tone him down a little bit, like straight jacket on the side, just buddy. Drop it.
My other underrated, I would say, is Bobby Oshiro.
Ooh, yes, that's a really good one.
I feel like I've been watching her a lot in the last month, and I watched a match with her against Simone and Paris Todd. She was the best player on the court, in my opinion, watching them play. She lost. She's got a partnership as part of it. But she was, I thought, the best and most consistent, aggressive player on the court. And she's been having a lot of results lately. And I don't think people talk about her. I don't know why. Maybe she's undersized.
Dirty, man.
I don't know the reasoning.
And she's got a lot of pop on the ball for how small she is. It's surprising.
And she comes from that area where she's getting that elite practice, so she's only going to get better and better and better. I think people are noticed for who they are for the most part. I think.
What do you mean?
Like you say underrated and overrated. I think there's not many overrated and underrated people. I think people are getting their just dues on this tour. If you're playing well, you're getting...
Yeah, I think so, but I also think like this is so much matchup oriented. So let's just use MLP as a quick example. Leia and Anna Lee did not have good results, relatively, right? I mean, for what they were expected. But Leia's making finals almost every week with Elise Jones. So if she played with Anna Lee and is losing, and you just took it based on that small amount, you'd be like, oh, Leia sucks. But she doesn't suck. She's fucking awesome with Elise. She's not playing well with Anna Lee because she doesn't feel comfortable or doesn't, whatever the circumstance is. If you put Dylan on the left side with a relatively pedestrian right side guy, how good is he? He's playing with J-Dub, who you can argue is the best player in the world outside of Ben. He's right there playing disgusting, like chopping everybody up. So what's Dylan's role there? I think it's not a huge role. So you're voted for you're rated for what you are, but again, in a sport that's so side specific and skill set specific, it's hard to rate them from my view. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm speculating; these are just my opinions, but I want to see someone that can overtake a match and dominate the match. There's only a few people I see that are capable of doing that.
With that point in mind, then from both of you guys, who do you think's been the most consistent player?
Ben
Johns.
Fucking best player in the world.
Saying
you have to say it.
He's the best player. It's never ending.
Yeah, he wins everything. And he's very, very fucking good. And Federico is awesome in singles, getting better, but even he is medaled the first 3 or 4 events and then kind of tapered off. And then, you gotta give it to J-Dub, man. The guy is a robot. He's just reads the patterns so well. He has it down to a T. He can make you feel silly at times attacking him. And yeah, so there's those guys, there's no overrating. They're just really, really fucking good. But I also think there's certain teammates. Again, you take AJ and Deckel. That's an interesting one also. If you looked at them, you would be like, oh, they're terrible. Together, they're not good. But you match them up with maybe the appropriate partner at the appropriate time, and suddenly the rating goes up. And it's a difficult one. I don't know.
Oh, what about Matt Wright?
Yeah, I think he's coming to the end of his road. He's obviously fucking been great for a really long time, but he's older. He's slowed down a little bit. He's obviously got a bad back. He's very, very good at what he does. I don't know if he's capable of beating the Johns brothers anymore or JW and Dylan anymore. That ship might have sailed.
That's a challenge, Matt.
Yeah, and Matt, I am a fucking fan of your game, man. I like the way you talk shit too, but you are old, man. You're old as shit, and I'm not far behind you, so that's the way it goes.
Well, last thing on the docket coming up here, Jack Sock is debuting in singles.
I forgot about that.
Let's get your
singles,
thoughts on
doubles,
that.
and mixed.
Oh, he is. Okay, all 3 events. Yeah. Well, let's get your thoughts on it.
He's going to be great. My initial guess, without seeing the draws, is quarter, semi and mixed, quarters and singles, quarters and men's. He's got Tyson. I think that's actually going to be his weakest event. I think singles he's going to be really, really good right away. He's obviously super athletic, super fast. I'd be shocked if he hasn't been practicing every day for the past 4 weeks. And undoubtedly has the fastest hands in the tournament, is the best athlete in the tournament. Yeah, he's going to be really fucking good.
He got great partners.
He's got great partners too, yeah.
I mean, that's the
As
way
he
to
should.
that's the way to debut.
As he should. I mean, he deserves it. The guy's won, was number one in the world in doubles and won a bunch of slams, and he should get great partners. People should be excited to see him play, and Tyson's lucky to pair with him. Annalee's lucky to pair with him, and of course he's lucky as well. But he deserves it.
You know who else is making their debut in North Carolina? Lester
Cook. Shit, man, how do we almost forget about this?
Lester Cook.
Jesus. Okay, so my homie Lester Cook, who I probably played for the first time when I was 5 years old in SoCal tennis, calls me about a month ago. Is this pickle thing real? Can I play this? Can you actually play this thing? Yeah, man. All right. And he flew here from Nashville for 3 days to practice, and damn straight. And he was good. Like he's a newbie, obviously. Always the dinking is the toughest part, but he's playing singles in North Carolina, has to play qualies, but I think is legitimately going to try to start playing a lot of pickle, and his skill set matches it well. He's serving volleyed a lot, had a good slice backhand, has good feel.
What number was he? Do you know that he topped out on the tour?
I want to say it was like 155 in singles, around 140 in doubles maybe.
Okay. That's a good pedigree.
He's a good player, man, and he's a good athlete. And I don't think he's done a lot athletically in the past few years. So if he's serious about it, which I'm sure he will be, and he gets his body in order and is feeling motivated, which he wanted to play for 9 hours a day while he was here. I couldn't do it. I got a little girl, and we played about 3 a day. But he learned quickly. He was probably 70% better when he left than when he started. And watch out for him because he's going to have a huge uptick.
Awesome. Well, that's about everything there. So now we can get into some fun. Finally settle this who's the better coach debate. We had 2 fans write in, so that's huge.
Hit me when I'm low on caffeine and sleep.
I thought you were gonna order boba. You fucked that up too.
All right, I'm tired.
You just fuck everything up.
As soon as we're done here, we're gonna order it.
I'm getting out of here.
I didn't get the card yet.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. I know, Thomas. Go on, send it. So Graham, I think we'll have you go first on this first person, and then we'll reverse.
Okay.
So this guy's name is Kevin Fan. Kevin, I know you sent a video in. We will do that a separate time when we can see it. But you sent in a nice write-up, so thank you. He says, love the pod and glad I can contribute to the debate on who's the better pickleball instructor. Question on pickleball grips. What grip should I use at the kitchen, and what do you use? Currently, I use an Eastern forehand grip for almost everything with 3 exceptions. 1. Use a continental/Eastern backhand grip for slice returns and third shot drops to my backhand. 2. Use a continental Eastern backhand grip for 4th shot backhand rolls when I have time.
Dude, I'm interrupting this. Kevin, my man.
I was supposed to go first.
Bro, don't think so much. Just hold
first.
it how you want to hold it and figure it out.
See, here we go. This is why he's not a good coach, Rowan. Let me start out by saying, Kevin, I'm a huge fan. I imagine you're really good at pickleball. I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, Kevin, I appreciate you listening and do what you're doing, but it's not that hard.
I would say for most people that are under 4.5, let's say under 4.5 or 4.0, continental. I would try to stay as continental as you could, as often as you can. And then as you get better, you're going to start playing a little bit with the grip, but it's not too often. Yeah, there's very specific shots and moments.
Give me a paddle. Kevin, look at me. Okay, look. Guys hold the thing like this. Guys hold it like this. And guys hold it like this. As long as you're not too far over towards a backhand extreme right here, you're good. Because then you can't guard the forehand wing. You can play it like this. You can play it like this. Play like this. It doesn't matter. Whatever you get used to and you feel, it honestly doesn't make any difference. Guys rated 1 to 10 in the world.
But he's talking about switching all the time.
Yeah, you don't want to switch all the time.
Okay.
Play with one grip for the most part. The only thing you would potentially switch on is like a forehand groundy or your serve. Other than that, keep it within the same range all the time, and it truly does not matter if you can guard forehand and backhand volley. That is it. That's the only necessary part of this. So I think it sounds like, Kevin, you're putting way too much thought into this, thinking it's far more difficult than it is, and really all it is grabbing one grip and having 10,000 reps with that grip, and you will get really, really good at whatever you choose.
Yeah, he asked what's your grip? What do you do?
I do this with Conti, okay? And I'm actually trying to move it slightly more over towards a forehand grip to guard more on the forehand. It's been difficult for me just because I've played like this my whole life. But because of my grip, I guard backhand a little too strong. But I'm pretty centrally located, and that allows me to be pretty aggressive on the forehand and backhand wing and roll both sides. You just don't want to favor one side too much more than the other. But again, that's the beauty of pickleball, Kevin. Like, you get guys like Riley Newman who are literally like this, pancake, and are nasty. He's hit a million balls like that, and no matter what grip you choose, if you hit a million balls like that and you feel like you can guard the forehand and backhand, you're going to be really, really good with it.
And he'll have weaknesses because of that, and then it's your job as an opponent to find that weakness because
Everybody
of that
has
grip.
weaknesses
Yeah.
because of the grip. Regardless of what grip you have, for example, Ben Johns is like this. So he's more inclined to be aggressive off the forehand counter. If you stretch him on the backhand, he's going to reset it more often. That's because of his grip. Guys that are stronger on the backhand, like a Jay DeVilliers, he's going to be stronger with the backhand counter than he is with the forehand counter. Everybody has some slight weakness based on their grip. You can't guard everything perfectly. Riley actually has an advantage here because he can take the pancake and fucking windshield wiper the thing and essentially guard everywhere. It's one reason why his hands look so fast.
Yeah.
He also asks, he needs advice on how to sort out one-hand versus two-hand stuff. Is it possible to learn how to use two-hand backhand for anything outside of the body and quickly switch to one for anything at the body, or is there no time for that in firefights?
No time. No time. Do what's instinctual. Again, Kevin, it sounds like you're trying to make this really logical and there's some sort of formula for it, and there's really not. Your body is your body, my body is my body. Your instincts are going to be slightly different than mine. Trust those. If you switch to two hands to guard, fine. Switch to two hands to guard. But most of the time, you just got to trust your judgment. If you feel more comfortable with a one, stick to a one. If you feel more comfortable with a two, stick to a two. But I don't think there's a formula that's in play here that is going to work, and I'm just going to tell you, and that's the secret. Again, this is reps and feeling your body and knowing what works for you.
Yeah, I mean, in pickleball, it's all about speed. So the less you're doing, the better you are.
Correct. That's actually very good, Graham. About time.
Great. And we had one more lady write in. Her name is Hope Borsato. I hope I'm saying that right, Hope. And she just sent a video and did a little write-up. So, Hope, we'll have to do this another time when they can see the video a little better, but she did say that she can handle severely critical review. So, Trav, I think that gives you...
Wait, she said what? She can handle a severely critical review?
Yes.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, so, Hope, we'll have that
You
coming
suck.
shortly.
Quit the sport. Go play tennis.
Don't ever play tennis, Hope. I would never say such things. Okay.
Yes, and then, we're all set, guys.
Oh, what was it? What was?
Well, we can't see the video.
Oh, we
Yeah.
still see the video. Got it.
Yeah.
But
So
we
we'll
can
do
be
that.
harsh on her.
Exactly. When we do see the video, Trav, I think you can unload.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Sign it off, Graham. Hey, thanks, Selkirk. Thanks, Sunday Swagger. Dopest threads in the game and best paddles in the game. Appreciate you.